The superhero Spider-Man was designed by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and on August 15, 1962, it made its debut in the Amazing Fantasy comic books, issue number 15. His real name is Peter Benjamin Parker. High school student Peter acquired his spider abilities after being bitten by a radioactive spider while on a field trip. Peter is in love with Mary Jane Watson, a childhood friend, but Mary Jane is a popular girl while Peter is nerdy and shy. Harry Osborn is his only friend. The owner of the Daily Bugle, one of New York's largest newspapers, J. Jonah Jameson, has been after Spider-Man ever since his inception as a crime fighter. Jameson claims that Spider-Man is a danger since he covers his identity. The Fantastic Four were, after all, the most well-known superheroes at the time, and they were transparent about their identities. Jameson's hatred towards Spider-Man never ceases, despite the fact that numerous superheroes with secret identities have appeared over time. The biggest problem of the newspaper in the early days is that they did not have a properly taken photo of Spider-Man. Young Peter Parker thinks, in light of this, that the best way to get money is to photograph Spider-Man and sell the images to the media. The expression great power brings great responsibility, which is associated with the character, actually belonged to Uncle Ben, who raised Peter, not to Peter.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Peter fights criminals as Spider-Man, but when he stumbles upon a robbery, he ignores it and thinks that the cops will deal with it. However, he witnesses Uncle Ben getting shot on the sidewalk as he arrives home. Uncle Ben was shot by the criminal that Peter did not stop, and he died as a result. Unable to carry this burden, Peter abandons the Spider-Man image at first, but he later returns to combat crime in accordance with his uncle's promise to protect other decent people. Peter Parker is a successful scientist, despite the fact that his name appears to be absent next to researchers like Reed Richards, Henry Pym, Bruce Banner, and Tony Stark. He is an expert in mechanical engineering, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. This information enabled him to prevail in a number of hopeless battles. Although Spider-Man's abilities have evolved slightly over time, they have largely remained constant. Peter actually has the powers of a spider. Strong enough to carry 170 times his weight, he is also agile enough to jump 50 times as high. Spider-Man can climb walls just like a spider. This feature works not only on his hands and feet, but also in other parts of his body. He frequently appears in comic book scenes where he is either leaning on a wall or ceiling or simply holding on with his back. Spiderweb was produced from his body in the Sam Raimi directed Spider-Man movie. He creates webs in the original comic book form with the web throwers he wears on his forearms. Web launchers work with cartridges called web liquid. In his high school lab, Peter created the material that makes up the mesh fluid in question. As you might expect, Spider-Man frequently runs out of web cartridge in comic books. The features of Spider-Man's webs are very similar to those of a spider's web. Webs can be formed by web launchers in a variety of ways, not just as ropes. Spider-Man has even been seen to weave a parachute with his webs in the comics. Since the webs are made of an organic material, they melt within an hour or two. He also has a special red and blue costume that he made himself when he first realized his powers. One of Spider-Man's many outfits is the Iron Spider one, which includes 3 mechanical arms. Our superhero, who resembles a spider in both appearance and skills, employs this power to oppose evil and serve justice. Spider sense is described in comics as a tingling sensation that Spider-Man experiences when danger gets closer. This feeling may escalate to a painful degree depending on the extent of the risk. Spider-Man is a tough opponent thanks to his relative agility and spider senses, since most of his danger prevention occurs automatically. Therefore, he can even fight with a team of 6 supercriminals like the Sinister Six at the same time. He was able to defeat Firelord, the Herald of Galactus, and other much more powerful foes than himself with ease, thanks to his spider senses. By discovering the frequency that triggers his spider senses, Peter has succeeded in turning into a tracking device. He can track offenders by using a spider-shaped device that he mounts on web launchers and can stick to surfaces. Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood, can easily lift about 10 tons. In the 33rd issue of the Amazing Spider-Man series, Peter was stuck under tons of iron and concrete and realized who he really was at the moment. Later, when he talked to himself, we learned that the load he was under was heavier than a full locomotive. However, Spider-Man drew all his strength and managed to get through this tough situation. In 1998, Peter Parker had to deal with a similar challenge again. After the Green Goblin destroyed one of the Daily Bugle newspaper building's support legs, Spider-Man went to help. After some pretty tough times, Spider-Man's incredible strength saved the building from collapse. Later, he secured the pillar with his webs and was able to prevent a major disaster. The strength of Spider-Man extends beyond to carry collapsing objects. He is also very effective in fistfights. Even so, Peter Parker frequently pulls back since he doesn't want to inflict permanent harm on anyone. Even yet, Spider-Man killing someone who resembled Wolverine with only one punch in the first Spider-Man vs. Wolverine issue from 1987 was a really difficult moment. When it comes to Spider-Man's enemies, the Sinister Six are at the top of the list, while Venom is his most dreaded and formidable foe. This symbiote from outer space united with our friend for a while and gave him great powers. However, Peter eventually cut Venom loose from his own body after the symbiote inspired him to do evil. Angry at the situation, Venom entered Eddie Brock's body and became one of the Spider-Man's main enemies. Spider-Man has frequently succeeded against the Sinister Six squad and Venom simultaneously. This demonstrates how strong Peter Parker is behind his mask. Yes, friends, we have come to the end of the video. If you liked the video, do not forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications. Until the next video, take care, goodbye.